Tom Cassidy in the house with Sam Brown. Sam Brown is joining the fray. He stepped up in the 10K project, and his week one is starting now. Sam, tell us what you're going to be doing your course on. What's your 10K project going to be actually all about?
Yeah, thanks, Tom, for having me. I join you from deep in the doldrums of my work right now, and it's kind of fitting that I'm here to kick off what many of you know that Brian Sykes and I worked on a course called Fitness Mojo, and Brian kind of has this concept of a person's mojo, which is really involved in the spirit side, which is what I really vibe on and what got me really interested in the whole mojo paradigm. And so what we're working on now is called Career Mojo, and it's something that's very close to my heart, and it's I'm really excited to jump into it to help people achieve in whatever facet they may be, from unemployed to underemployed to a high six-figure executive who's looking to just raise the bar, and providing them a framework with obtaining mojo in their career, because it's certainly something that's personal for me, because it's really only been in the past year or so I found, bless it, Tom, a deep passion for what I call work, and I think it's something that is singularly missing from a lot of people's lives. A lot of people go through the motions of waking up, going to work, earning money, buying food, going to sleep, waking up, earning money, paying a mortgage, going to sleep, waking up, and before you know it, 40 years has gone by, and a lot of people haven't got the meaning that they wanted to out of their work. And it's something, one of the stats that we throw around, I think the person spends something like 40% of their free time at work. So it's something that is really, if you're not enjoying what you do, and if it's not invigorating your life, then why are you doing it? You're completely wasting your time. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying as someone who has completely wasted my time a lot of the time. So I'm real excited for this this next chapter in the Mojo series.
Brilliant. And so you're actually doing this then with Brian. You're doing it, so it's a co-authored one with me, and so there's going to be three of us on the program, which is great, exciting.
Yeah, it's a tri-co-authored course, and Brian's been working a really long time, and he's a super smart guy, and he's got a lot of this content, honestly, is coming out of some work that he's done over the past few years. So it's something that's really been brewing up a lot. And personally, I'm really excited because I'm kind of the guinea pig for this information, because I've seen mojo explode in my life over the course of the past year, really beginning to work in and around some of the more soft skills side, as the HR people call it. The hard skills I've always really concentrated on, coming from an engineering background and moving into, when the internet kind of blew up, moving into development and all that kind of stuff. I've always really focused on the hard skills, but the soft skills, the aspects of motivation and passion and working with people and all those kind of things, are something that I've really come to appreciate recently. So I'm excited to contribute from an angle of really being the person who's going through the transformation of experiencing mojo in their career. So I'm going to be living out loud for this course, but also for hopefully to provide an inside track for a lot of individuals who find themselves lacking mojo, not only in their life but in their career.
That's really interesting. It's kind of like Buckminster Fuller, who obviously we talk about quite a lot on this program. He talked about himself as being guinea pig B, and basically in 1927, when he decided to do some sort of cool stuff, he's 32 years old, and he tried a bunch of things and they hadn't worked, and he thought, I know what I'll do. I'll dedicate my life to the experiment of seeing what one individual could actually do, without any backing, without any finance, he didn't even have a college degree, and he'd in fact invested, a lot of his friends and family had invested in a house building company that he had for a little while, and that just didn't work. So he's basically destitute, and he thought, I wonder what I can do as an individual that any corporation or government or religious organization couldn't do. And the best way to do that is to live out loud and to actually archive everything I do. He did okay. He kind of changed the world significantly and made a ton of money in the process as well. He was he ended up in the 80s. He was spending about $350,000 to $400,000 a year paying for himself to travel around the world to just go and talk to universities and stuff like that. That's the kind of a disposable income he had, that he could just say, I'm just going to do cool stuff. And he made $1 million a year as an income in the 50s in the States. That's pretty impressive. But the thing that I like is, one of the books is written that is biographing his life is called Guinea Pig B. And that idea of you being the guinea pig is really interesting, because I'm a bit of a career expert as well. Before sorry, that came out a little bit wrong. But before I went into the more widely ranging sort of mindset applied to general life approach, I was doing quite a bit of stuff in careers, and Brian's got that side of things. So between the three of us, we've got an awful lot of stuff on careers, and we've got a live subject who's actually going to take it through. Of course, it'll be interesting for you, Sam, because you're not planning to be in a career really for very much longer because of all the crazy stuff that you're doing, some of it with the projects that we're involved in. So how's that going to work with, you're going to be sort of in the cycle and then poof, so I've just got a great company. Is it still going to work?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a really good point. Like, one of my dreams is to move beyond the world of resumes and careers and the structure, the old definition of what you're supposed to do, and move into a world, much like what you were just talking about, where you have the kind of resources to really do what you want, but most importantly, chase your passions. And I'm really excited about that. So it's going to work, because your career is so much more than where you spend 8 hours a day during your working time. I really look at the rest of my life as my career, a lifelong career, following my passion. And so that has a lot of different definitions, and that's one of the exciting things about this time in history, is because there are so many rapid changes happening in the workplace, where corporate America is going to need to respond to these changes to provide individuals the kind of experience that's going to attract the best talent. Because if they don't, if large corporations and businesses don't shift don't shift their strategies and their vision statements to meet the changing needs of the individual, they're going to lose all of their talent, who go on to other companies that do provide those experience, or they're going to go on as an entrepreneur and just build their own companies, kind of thing. So for me, a career is not so much defined as an employee, but defined as having a successive work that builds up into something that you can be really proud of and build a legacy for yourself. Because I think there's no real bigger satisfaction to be able to look back on your life and realize that you built a legacy, not only for yourself and your family, but that other people can point to as well and say, this is really cool, this person did this or provided that. Because I do have a lot of plans to impact my own life, but then my plans immediately turn around to impacting hundreds of millions of other people's lives. And I, honestly, I don't even deserve to share the same air as you guys. You and Brian, you've done a lot of career stuff. In fact, I've taken your Udemy courses on career stuff. Brian works professionally with these high-level companies on designing this kind of stuff and integrating it in their programs. And I literally, I'm just coattails for this ride, and just going to try and provide some enthusiasm and mojo of actually what I've experienced, because I've literally just morphed into this vision for myself in my life just in the past year. So it's very much still fresh in my mind, and I'm still living it. I mean, you can see right now, I'm in a hidden conference room in my office at work, and so it's going to be interesting, because at the very end of this program, you're probably going to see a tropical beach behind me. Who knows? But I'm very excited to be a part of it, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are in the boat of not getting the most out of work that they can. And so it's a real honor to be involved in something like this with you guys. I can't stress that enough.
Oh, I think you can. I think you've stressed it enough. Okay, well, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Sure. The 4 things that you need to do in week 1 is: 1, have your title; 2, have your main search term; 3, have your wheel in outline structure; and 4, start doing Hangouts. And I know that you're pretty au fait with the Hangouts, so I'm sure that's going to be very easy, and we'll be able to start those, and you and Brian will be able to do a bunch, and I'll do some as well. I think it'll be quite cool. But the others, I also know you've got your wheel, and I'll actually show this now. I actually got. Now I think the numbers are a little bit wrong.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I need to adjust them because this is set up for a 4-domain wheel. We have 3 domains.
Right, there it is. Everyone should be able to see that. That's right. Okay, so actually there's 3 domains. So just briefly talk us through the outline of this. I'm not in any real detail, but you know why you went for a 3-domain structure, and I guess what they're all about, very briefly.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of this comes from Brian's work and research into the H factor, which is kind of a human-centric approach to not only work, but providing a work experience for people that allows them to get the best out of themselves. The reason why I love it as a metaphysician is because it covers the 3 phases of our being, which of course, you know, the head being our mind, the hand being our body, and the heart being our spirit. That's the way I kind of look at these. And again, one thing that I really took from you, Tom, is that there's nothing in here about job searching or about a specific career or about LinkedIn or anything like that. These are all aspects of when you begin to reconstruct your foundation, the foundation of your actual consciousness. The career or finances or anything else will just automatically happen as an effect of all of that. And so each one of these components focuses, we try to make it as succinct as possible on some aspects of each one of these domains. And for example, like in the heart, it's about things that you can do. You know, giving first is really about more than filling your place, you know, giving the impression of increase. You go over to things like the principle of least action in your hand is like making sure your action is as efficient as possible. And is this, you know, are these activities really moving me forward today? And to stuff over in your head is like trust your instinct. This is such a big one for me because it's something that I've really admired about you, Tom, is really just letting your instinct be your guide, and the more you trust your own instinct, the better you become at listening to it. And there's an old saying that says, "Never argue with a hunch." And these are some of the things, and I'm interested to inject this kind of language into a corporate environment that a lot of people may not even run into these concepts in a work environment.
Well, it's going to work, isn't it? If people got better at all these things, you know, they wouldn't be, you know, they'd be running the company basically, wouldn't they? You know.
I mean, yeah, literally. And again, this is set up. We wanted to make it as broad as possible because we plan on going into situations where we're going to be working with some groups that specifically help people that have been out of work long term. And I know in my soul that if these individuals would begin to change the way they're thinking, it would radically affect what they're seeing in their lives. And so I want to be able to help everyone from the guy who's been the guy or the gal who's been unemployed for going on a year and really just doesn't feel like they have anything left to offer. You know, maybe they're late in their career or even earlier in their career and they just can't really see that. To someone who may be underemployed, working in a job right now but knows they can give more and know they can do better, to all the way up to the high performing executive who feels like they're hitting on all their cylinders, but yet they always can raise the bar, and that's why raising the bar is one of the focus points, because it is about continually growing, because that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so your title then, that's the outline of the structure. You've got your wheel, you've got the Hangouts. Your title, what is actually going to be the first part of the title? Is it Career Mojo? I guess that's the sticky part, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just like the way that you've done a brilliant job with Mind Mastery, that's one of the things that I really noticed about your Udemy stuff is it's, you know, Mind Mastery, Everyday Mind Mastery : and that I love that idea of kind of creating your own keyword and kind of owning that brand, so to speak. And the Mojo is a standalone brand. You know, we have Fitness Mojo, Career Mojo. There's plans in the works for other series of Mojos that follow up and all lead to that. So I like that Career Mojo : and then, we're still playing around with some titles and keywords, but one of the things we keep coming back to is this concept of work-life balance, of really designing a work experience that that maximizes not only your satisfaction from what you're doing while you're working, but also allows you to live a kind of lifestyle that would benefit you the most. It's not about getting a ridiculously high-paying job and working 90 hours a week and not having any time for your family. But it's also not about taking a part-time job and always having to struggle to make your bills and spending a lot of time with your family. There's a work-life balance there, and I've certainly seen it in my career over here in the United States, where people have a lot of problems balancing that. It's either one or the other kind of thing, and it certainly doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, let's get rid of that problem for people, for sure. I think they'd love the idea of being able to do something that they really loved in a nice, balanced way. And it's like the main thing that you'll run into is, of course, the script, and the script will say that this stuff is just not possible. Whenever they talk to anybody who's been uber successful, it'll be someone who's like been working sort of 80, 100 hours a week for like 3 years, and then they've become an overnight success. And of course, there's going to be a lot of hard work in whatever you're doing, but I think that there is, if we're playing the right game and we're playing the long game, and everything that you're doing is investing in taking you closer to the ultimate vision, if you think about it like this, I've done lots of things which were only marginally helpful to my life now. I've spent 40 hours a week or something like that or more working in some jobs, in some situations where really all I've got from the end of that period, doing it for a couple of years, is that I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I'm not saying everything you do is valuable, but if you can get right fairly early on, say in your 20s or your 30s or even in your 40s, a real clear idea of what you want to be doing eventually, and if every single hour of every single day of every single month of every single year is working towards that same thing, you don't need to work 80, 100-hour weeks. You just don't need to do that, because you can work gradually, and it's like when you're working with forces, using forces and not working against them, then it's a lot easier. And that's what I'm finding, that the more I try to work hard and kind of force things to happen, the less effective they are. The more I kind of relax and just allow the great ideas to come to me. Look, I take a lot of action and I do a lot of work, but really I don't think, if anyone, none of my brothers think I work at all, let alone hard.
Nice. Yeah, well, brothers are kind of supposed to fill that role where they give you a hard time. But I have seen you in action, man, and you work a lot harder than most. But the old cliche of if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I really believe that's true.
Yeah, it's totally. So basically, you're not 100% sure. You got 3 of the 4 things. You've got the ability to do Hangouts. You've got the title, which is the Career Mojo bit. The stickiness, you haven't, and you've got the outline of the structure, but you haven't quite worked out what your main search term is for the first series of Hangouts that you're going to record. So one of the best ways to do that, I think I'll just share that with people because I think they'd appreciate this.
Yeah, this is really good.
Is to and there's lots of ways to do it. You can use AdWords, you can use all sorts of keywords tools that you can even buy or even trial. But I think one of the best ways to do it is to just use Google's instant search to give you an idea. So for example, if I'm here in a browser going, okay, what's the best career for work-life balance? I'm not getting any suggestions there. Okay, that's interesting. Let's say
use Google's right there.
Yeah. Okay. How do I get my dream job? Okay, so that's something that some people are obviously searching for. 198 million results. That doesn't mean there's 198 million searches. Of course, there's a different thing, search volume. But what you're doing is, if you just mess around with that and you say, you go back to dream job. How do I know my dream job? And then you might try for a career and see career. how do I find my dream career is a popular one. How do I figure out my dream career? How do I find out my dream? So you're getting an idea now, and if you do just this one, you can see roughly, okay, 153 million. I'll go back a little bit. You see what I'm doing? I'm only just taking off a little bit of the end, and then I've got all these different options.
Yeah.
How do I figure out my dream career? 106 million. Not as many people resulting for that. Doesn't mean there's not as many people searching for it. But what's quite interesting is notice that we haven't had any adverts yet. Adverts are always a good sign. As soon as you see the paid adverts, you know that people you know that basically people think that that's a useful thing, a useful keyword. So I'm still not getting anything even for dream career. So
try what's the best career for me, or something like that. Yeah. Best career for me.
Best career for me. Okay. So wow, that's 436 million. Now, what's interesting about that is that there's no adverts for that. So usually it means that nobody thinks that collection of keywords, as in what's the best career for me, is going to be right. But let's have a look. This is, if you put in speech marks, you'll be able to see how many people. It's about 133,000 actual results. So this is the best way to see the real true search volume, or not again the search volume, but the results volume. Because what Google does is if you've got broad matching, it'll return without these speech marks, without these inverted, it will return 436 million because it doesn't have to have the exact words in the right order. And that's in general how people will do it. But you want to see what the sort of competition is and what's going on. What's the best career for me? Okay. Now, okay. For me, UK. All right. Okay. What's the best career for you? Other things is a more satisfying, maybe work-life balance might be. Work-life balance tips. Okay, work-life balance tips. We've got some people starting to advertise here on this. 83 million work-life balance tips. Basically, the job of work for you to do is to go with. Now, you're not going to just go by the search term. You've got to go by your intuition.
Right.
But I think it's important that you have an idea of, because ultimately this strategy that we're using is predicated on the fact that people will be you can see me there. Predicated on the fact that people will actually be searching and then stumbling across you through the YouTube Hangouts that you're doing, and then as a result, so it might be that you have to go a bit more oblique. And it might be make more money from my career or something like that. Yeah. Have a more successful career. Be a career success, something like that. And that's kind of up to you to work out. And obviously you'll need to talk to Brian about it. There's no good, well, it's not no good, but there's no point in just coming up with a really, really nice tagline. If no one's searching for it, we're missing an opportunity, that's all.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I agree with the Trojan horse concept of getting people interested and then kind of peeling back the layers of it. It's tip of the iceberg type stuff. It's kind of like with the Science of Getting Rich. It's probably a good reason why Waddles named that book that title, is because it draws in the people that may not necessarily be turned on by, this is a rather deep esoteric book on basically creating the best life you can possibly have.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
You're right. There's a guy in the UK called Paul McKenna, and he's kind of one of the biggest gurus in the whole NLP and all that sort of stuff area. And I don't know any of his work at all, but I do know that I did read about him talking about, he called his stuff, I can make you thin, I can make you rich, I can make you successful, this sort of stuff. Because what he knows is that people are only ready to hear what they want to hear. They want to be thinner, they want to be fitter, they want to be richer, they want to be more successful. They don't want to be happier. They think they're happy enough already. They think if they get richer, they will be happier. But he said, basically all I'm trying to do is to say, well, okay, so why do you want to be thin? And well, obviously, if they want to be thin because they think it'll make them happy.
Right.
And he said, well, obviously, I can make them happy, and then they'll have more chance of becoming thin if they're actually starting off happy. And so, even though he's using trickery and all that sort of stuff, it does make sense. You've got to talk to people in the language that they're ready for.
Yeah.
You don't just start. It's like you've got to give people what's appropriate for them. And people say, well, it's not fair to trick people. Well, yes, steak is better than baby formula milk for me, but it's not better for the baby. You know, what is the most appropriate food for a 3-month-old baby? It's breast milk or formula milk. It's not steak. What's the most appropriate language for people that are just coming to terms with this sort of stuff? It's not, oh, well, what you can do is, if you basically want to be really successful, give greater life for all in everything you do. And I go, what the hell? You know, I think you're nuts. But if you say, if you want to be successful, here's how to make more money, here's how to get rich, here's how to have a better career, I think then at least you've got what you've got then is you've got people's attention. So I think you need to think about that, and you need to start saying with Brian, just try a few things. And again, there's no rush. You've got this week to start nutting out a few of your Hangouts. You don't have to get it right until you actually publish the Udemy course, because when you publish your Udemy course, then your URL will be, you know, udemy.com/careermojo hyphen whatever you choose, whatever you're going to choose it to be. But until that point, you can always trial and see which ones are naturally getting a few hits and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. It's cool stuff, and it's been really exciting too. Watching everybody else, it's like we're going skydiving, and the other people are going out of the plane, and I see them having fun and being and landing well and doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to jump.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun, and you know what we've got is we're very lucky that we've just kind of had this way which does enable us for pretty much any search term we want to get very quickly ranked. I was reading somewhere recently that they were saying that video from YouTube is about 65 times more speedy in ranking than ordinary text and blog posts. And then a Hangouts is obviously taking that to an incredible level, because I've uploaded videos to YouTube and they haven't ranked at all, and I've done a Hangout and it's ranked in real time.
Yeah.
So
wow.
if YouTube is 65 times, you know, that's a crazy statistic, because it'll be different for all the different things. But on average, if YouTube is really quite high, then Hangouts will be better. One last tip on the searches. Just have a quick look at this, because I think this is quite interesting, because we're obviously going to be trying to get to #1 for our search term. But if you say learn how to get my dream career or dream job, let's say, dream body, love it. Okay. Oh, there's Tom, sort of. I'm number 3 in that one. Nice. But the point is, let's say now what's really interesting is we're going to be doing it through videos. So what you're looking for is a big differential between the number of results for web and the number of results for video for a search term. So 90 million. What is it for videos? About 8 million. So it's about 10 times. Now that's a good starting point, because what it means is that there's for every one video that's out there trying to get ranked for this page, there's at least 10 other sites.
Yeah.
So I think that there probably won't be videos. So if you went for this, right? Okay, brilliant. I'd be surprised if there's a video in the first 3 or 4 pages. We're already on page 4.
Wow.
So what that means is, wow, it's incredible. So what that means is if you do videos, you've got a good opportunity, because no one else is ranking on the full search results. But what you're looking for ideally is a big differential, a search term that works for you, but also has like way more web results than video results. Now, if you went for something like this, YouTube video, you probably find that the difference between videos and webs, okay, it's only about 5 or 6 times as many. So there's not as much opportunity. And you look, obviously, because I've chosen something to illustrate the point.
Yeah.
All the top ones are videos. So what we're looking for is a search term which is popular. People are going to search for it, and you can use AdWords and all those things as well to find out. But there's an enormous number of web results, but not many video results, and then you can kind of dominate that quite quickly. In a nice way, in a bring more life to all kind of way.
Yeah, not in the competitive terms of dominating, but in the terms of being selected for further growth kind of way.
Well, the way we're doing it is we're giving people actual useful tips that if they followed would be phenomenally valuable to their lives. So I don't care if we have all the first 10 pages of results. You know, I don't care because it's really good stuff. And a lot of the time, you know, as we talked about, people are just trying to get you to go to the website so they can give you something that's quite useful and a barrage of adverts. Or they want you to sign up for something without giving you too much, or say, you know, and it's just like, come on, we're giving value. We're going to teach people. If all they ever did was watch the 20 or 30 hangouts that you're going to do, the short ones, that would be great for them. That would be brilliant for their careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we deserve to dominate through value is the kind of thing that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dominate through value. Anyway, buddy, you better get back to work.
Nice. Well, yeah, and it's really exciting. I'm excited to get back to work, not only here, but also to get back to work on some of this stuff. And I look forward to future hangouts with you, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, very much so.